well as to stimulate some interest in the Scots Gaelic language, which we'll be hearing. After just finishing the service that we were in a few minutes ago, I was thinking about how much things have changed. 100 years ago, 150 years ago, we were here, the whole Ford family would have been prohibited from taking communion for a long time for playing string instruments and playing drums and things like that in the church. For me, playing the black sticks and the devil, I would have been forbidden communion for some time. Alan Livingston and Bishop McDougall would have been really brought before the men, the elders, given quite a stern rebuke for hosting a whiskey gathering this weekend. So many things are so different than we're now. So we're going to sort of step back in time today. This event is a result, or perhaps a providential occurrence, which came last winter and early spring. In generating interest for the proposed chair of Gaelic Studies, Scottish Gaelic Studies at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, the current occupant of that position, Dr. Tiber Falzett, and a graduate assistant were staging a display in the Wilson Library at UNC, which dealt with historic documents and publications relative to Scots Gaelic here in North Carolina. And one of the items that they wanted to display was the sermon preached at Raft by the Reverend Crawford. Now, inquiries to the First Presbyterian Church in Fayetteville, who held the only known copy to exist of that document, declared it missing. And if this is true, it's a real terrible loss. But 12 years ago, when I was preparing exhibit displays for the Scottish Heritage Center, one of the documents I wanted to get an image of was the title page, at least, of Crawford's Raft sermon, which showed it being printed in Fayetteville. And that was to use that as an interpretation of the historical use and the importance of Gaelic in this region. And after that inquiry, I met with the church historian of the First Presbyterian Church in Fayetteville, Miss Mary Hayslip, who very kindly but guardingly accompanied me to a photo and business printing shop, which had a high-res scan 12 years ago. That's, at that point, was really some cutting-edge stuff. While I had that document in hand, instead of just copying that front page, I thought maybe we ought to copy the whole thing while it's here, while I've got it. So I did, for posterity, just in case we ever had a need for the whole thing. Now, considering the apparent loss of that original document, I have the only full and high resolution copy of the original document. When Tiber mentioned it in a phone call to me and asked me if I knew anything about it, I said, yes, fortunately, I think I can help you out. So I was fortunately able to make that available to UNC. UNC now has a copy as well in the Wilson Library as well, because they only had a poor photocopy of parts of it from the 1960s. Now, this providential event led to some further inquiries, not only about the sermon, but about Crawford himself. And some of you may have read some mentions, as I have, regarding Crawford. Those come from the late Reverend James McKenzie, from Ruth Jean Trivet, who was the historian of the Old Fayetteville Presbytery, and others in this past century, going back to and including newspaper accounts and other publications of the 19th century, including James Banks's address on the history of the Fayetteville Presbytery for its centennial in 1858. Most of the accounts state that Crawford was a former British Army chaplain who remained in America following the Revolutionary War, and that following an instance of unrequited love for a woman in the Barbecue Presbyterian Church congregation, that he decided to return to Scotland, but was lost at sea. A rather romantic story, one that we can now consider a twist and misinterpretation of history as it's passed on during the years. But I'd like to share a little bit about the life of Dougal Crawford, the man, with you. We're remembering Dougal Crawford and his ministry, particularly his ministry in Gaelic today. Dougal Crawford is credited for being the founding minister of this congregation here at Laurel Hill. His ministry during his time in this region stretched from the barbecue congregation up in Harnett County to the north to here at Laurel Hill and perhaps other locations in the south. And that included Old Bluff, Long Street, Barbecue, the now extinct Raft Swamp congregation, Philadelphia, and others. A distance of some 50 miles or better, and all points in between. He's remembered for being the author of the first document ever printed in the Gaelic language here in North America. And that's got tremendous historic significance in itself, and it probably speaks to not only his popularity as a minister here, or maybe his vanity in having his works published, but it also speaks to the size and perhaps the literacy as well as the printing demands of the Gaelic-speaking population that resided in this area. It was one of the earliest and one of very few religious documents that was printed by ministers, even up until this day in Gaelic. Duke of Crawford was born on May 15, 1752, the son of a farmer in the township of Siskin, in the parish of Kilmorey in the island of Arran. He was the second Arran man to minister in our community, as many of you here would know of the Reverend Duke of Crawford, who's buried at our local Stewartsville Cemetery, another figure that's known in local legend and lore, and these two probably knew each other. He was educated at the University of Glasgow and licensed to preach by the Presbytery of Dunoon on March 27, 1781. He was ordained by the Presbytery of Edinburgh on October 3, 1781 as a deputy chaplain to a regiment in the Dutch service in America. And this is where the story really gets interesting. Those who know the Revolutionary War history will know that the Dutch had remained neutral during the American Revolution. However, there was great support and a clandestine trade in arms and supplies for the American cause. In late 1780, the British, as a result of this, declared war on the Dutch, and maritime actions by the British Navy either captured or threatened the Dutch colonies, all the way from India and Africa to the Caribbean and the West Indies. Now, Crawford was billed as the chaplain to the Scotch Brigade of the Dutch Army, Scottish mercenaries, if you will, who had a long-standing history in the Dutch Army. For the most part, after the British declared war on the Dutch, the Scotch Brigade laid down their arms, or either deserted or left to join the British forces, which may have been someplace in their proximity. Some, however, did stay with the Dutch service. Now, we can suppose that this might be likely how Crawford made his way to the Carolinas, perhaps through Dutch interest in the West Indies and the Caribbean. Crawford was discovered by two ministers of the Raft Swamp congregation in Charleston. As recorded by James Banks, he was induced to visit Robinson County by John McCormick and Duncan McEachern of that congregation. The date which this interaction reportedly took place was around 1784. And we should note that the Raft Swamp area was a hotbed of loyalist sympathies during the Revolution, and also note that the British, Hessian, and Loyalist forces in Charleston didn't evacuate there until December 14, 1782. And the Loyalists evacuated included a number of Scots from our immediate community here, including the leader of and part of a company of what was a Loyalist militia from the Schuylkill district, as well as other areas. Now, if Crawford was indeed in Charleston at this time, he may have been acquainted with some Scots from our area, knew of the situations here, and as a result been introduced to some from the Raft Swamp community. And this is only hypothesis, but it seems to make some sense. Nonetheless, with three of the four resident Scottish Presbyterian ministers of the Revolutionary War era having sided with the Loyalists and being captured or left the area, there was definitely a need for a Gaelic-speaking Presbyterian to fill those vacancies. Crawford himself, in one of the sermon introductions, says in fall of 1790 that he'd been serving the congregation at Raft Swamp for 7 years. So perhaps 1783 might be a better date for his arrival. But nonetheless, we're still close to that British evacuation of Charleston, around just a few months. So how and why Crawford got to Charleston is still to be determined. However, the important fact is that he accepted the call to come to Raft Swamp and the settlement of Gaelic-speaking folks such as himself in this region. Dewey Crawford is recorded by the few that mention him in 19th century documents, those that would have been closest to knowledge of him, as having a distinct character. He is described as being an eminently pious man, austere in his manners, but vaunted as a preacher because many felt he spoke too fast. It's mentioned that he did indeed have an eye for the ladies, and James Banks stated that the unrequited love for which the legendary story is known in our area actually happened in Charleston as opposed to barbecue. The barbecue legend that is infatuated with a woman named Jane Dobbin, and that unrequited love, he made his way back to Scotland and died on her wedding day in 1795. And there's great romance here, but not all true. Again, a old tradition in the romantic storyteller at work. But it's said that when his interest in the lady in question were made public, that his sensitive nature made him shrink from public interactions and made him somewhat endeared. Wow. Another rather romantic addition to the legend. So, in fact, he was never to marry. But Banks goes on to state that he returned to Scotland following this, but came to Carolina again in 1790, where he remained until around 1794, leaving again not to return. Now, as the founding date of this congregation is dated 1797, we can suppose that he and others perhaps led worship here and other locations in the region, which we sometimes refer as brush arbors, or in the homes of various prominent citizens. Old Laurel Hill records its first meetings as being held in the home of the famed Duncan McFarland that was located nearby, so it's likely that he led worship for this section, perhaps in his home. Notably, Crawford's sermon preached at Raft Swamp in 1790 is noted by some as a farewell sermon, so perhaps Banks' account may be somewhat incorrect in the years that he recalls. Nonetheless, contrary to local accounts, he did not see in his return. In 1795, Crawford is found back at the parish of Kilmorey in his native area, where he is listed as an assistant for the parish. He's admitted as minister to the parishes of Saddell and Skipness in nearby Kintyre in 1799, where he served for some time. In March 1815, he was presented and supported for the pastorate of the parish of Kilmorey in Arran, once again under the patronage of the Duke of Hamilton, owner of the Arran Estates. This was against the will of the congregation, who instead wanted a man named Angus Macmillan, who was the catechist at the parish of Loch Ramsay, to be their minister. Now, the congregation, perhaps incensed at another dictate from a landlord, or perhaps not fond of a staid and fast-talking minister that they thought was too moderate for his taste, refused to sit under him, and instead his congregation deserted him and began meeting in a local cave, now known as the Kilpatrick Preaching Cave, for the entire time that he was stated minister at Kilmorey. During that time, a dispossessed tenant reduced to cotter status named William McKinnon ministered to the congregation. The Duke of Hamilton refused to intervene on behalf of the congregation, and Crawford remained the state minister of Kilmorey until his death on March 22nd, 1821. Now, contrary to the traditions of the Carolinas, Crawford didn't die at sea, or at least as described in the Carolina stories. But, an example of how oral traditions can be twisted through the years, he instead drowned while boarding a small boat to board a larger vessel, returning to Arran after a presbytery meeting in Durban in Ayrshire, and his body was never recovered. Now, Crawford's legacy is still with us here in this congregation, as others in the county, which are still strong. He was one of the relatively few and the earliest Gaelic-speaking ministers in North America, or Scotland for that matter, to publish his works. A sermon preached before the Cape Fear Union Lodge of the Ancient and Honorable Order of Free and Accepted Masons was published in Fayetteville in 1796 in English, and is his earliest publication on record. That can now be found online in full. Though not being first, his two sermons contained in his sermon preached at Raft Swamp, published in Fayetteville in 1791, were definitely the first documents known to have been printed in Gaelic in North America. In 1795, a The Sermon from Mari, dedicated to a lady named McAllister from Qatar, was printed in Glasgow and is found in the National Library of Scotland. A farewell sermon in Skipness was also printed in 1819 and was his last publication. An earlier pamphlet publication entitled A Mental Toothpick for the Fair Sex may have been inspired by his unfortunate dealings with the ladies throughout the years. So this is an ongoing research project, and one which has only in the past few months been addressed by us, but has been addressed through the years by a notable scholar in Scotland, Dr. Gaelic, who has written on Crawford and his works fairly extensively. But his scholarship is little known here. I'd like to thank Mr. William Cassidy for his translation of the original Gaelic for today's event. I'd also like to thank Dr. Tyler Falzett at UNC Chapel Hill and Mr. John Grimaldi of New York City for their support and assistance in making this event possible. And last but not least, I'd like to thank today's English speaker, Mr. Robert Curry, commander of the Navy and Arms of Curry, for the inspirational phone calls and email exchanges which led to this event becoming a reality today. Perhaps providentially, we chose to honor the Currys this year. And when Bob was invited to be our guest of honor for the Games, and perhaps due to a longer-term example of providence, we now know that Bob's immigrant ancestor, a man named Neil Curry, was one of the worshipers at the Kilbourne Parish who deserted Dewey Crawford and his pulpit and met in that cave there. So today there's a lot of history and a lot of connections relative to a man and his stories in his homeland as well as in our community. So to close your eyes for a moment, transport yourself back. It's fall of 1790. It's quiet in this sanctuary as we observe a strict observation of the Sabbath. The warmth of the early fall days bring comfort. The challenges of everyday life are put aside as we travel sometimes for miles by foot or by horse and wagon to be here. You are now the congregation of the Reverend Beagle Crawford. Listen closely. I think I hear Mr. Crawford approaching our meeting house.
Do pion piano yn Raft Swamp, agus na po piano eidha, an sy'n cwndyn I cro, sy'n naitio faistir matei. Ha mi lish o sian siach lirna a cwr olasach, go cyntio a be'n roc olasach, go chelig, fedi mi ra, go del mor ar mes, a han ar mas agus na'r clw don chynnu dwygio. Na chael ar bach yn y hyfrnare, Snach bier baas had opgesapeld dat over jouw Maar had jullie bezig geen reeltje. Agus gaat beter masha. Ik kan maar als een koster. Janne hier agus mas lunje. Go kindje. Gelutje die val. De tuggetje graasley. Van boven in dullen aan een schreeuwende ferie. Ons de regenige serpenten. Go be gately and innerlish, an osculator ray, got an animal, a sheep, a cur and a shallow, sonus eerie. And Sherman show get a high average under nation. Hier vult ik niet eigen takers in een jaar leven, a farmer zegt happy, of our gestaat heen, a goedermacher, na vraagkracht van room show. Rauwteen, Havi Michigan Gandush. Shimavea, Confai Shipiana for year, and show Snayesho.
Dedicated to the congregation in Raft Swamp and the other congregations in Robeson County, and here in Mr. Mackay's place of worship. Since I have gotten to know you over these past 7 years, indeed it has not been a bad acquaintance. I may say without any insincerity that there are many among us who possess both beauty and esteem among mankind, that our lives offer no reason to be ashamed, and that our death, I hope, won't be a cause of reticence, as long as we spend them agreeably, in virtuous, temperate, civil demeanor, proclaiming and receiving God's blessing and in esteem toward our fellow man. Certainly you won't be left unfulfilled. May God impart you with grace, so that you always may find reward in the pursuit of truth, and so that when our lives end, the gates of righteousness will open freely to our souls, and you will be received eternally. Although you've heard this sermon given aloud in your presence, nevertheless something may be gained by the reader who takes the book home, and looks inwardly upon the weight of his own immortality, and as long as the least one suitable or appropriate thought is received from this desire, I will not be left unrewarded. It is my wish that each of you will receive God's blessing from here and on after. Dougal Crawford.
In Ra Uncle Holov, and Fifth Capital Sada, and Chief Ra, Top Source and Lemov, on some Twiya, on some Porta Glosity, with the VSA Og, and the Soda Eke do Ush, a Treke. A Corley show Famo, and the Sonia Below, Hanyeli ek Aralache, Ni Sambia, Nania Shenaviska After Bleak, a Hamianacher Sonus, Mussoladache, a Honya, Hodedai ek Anya. Agus nach Júta Ulmanach a Chavéd Sabat Hócarach a Mírna Cé. Chaneli Thoramis ní Sambí, ach na níhe sin a chréta me Chin Haim na Biach a Chudges Lua Ati, do Spéch, do Honor, or Gia, do Gudum and or Nagar Haim, no do Hir Thomasim until a Halvahar no Richard.
This advice is useful and clear. It does not urge anything but those things that every wise father desires, the happiness and success of his children, knows and recognizes and refuses a child who nothing but those things that would entice him or her to their own ruin. It does not forbid anything but the things that we would forsake for ourselves if we had the smallest bit of honor of God, respect for our own nature, or clear knowledge of the world as it is or is to come.
Proverbs 22:6, train up the child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Saglaput sapi, kiet fum goro, amateur, no kunuchdo, puti et avi et unscriva et cria o vu. Ach Mashiach show na cave legionel, a cloth vulnerable, a cage electo, no an shield, a hood, Canid the coach Ayla than labor the be tachio, than popple of it angan shesero, no than shield of it horror. Arna gada ninchino, the fun cobrat ma no tachio, high loop of the cusper and tuoni. Na Kavice no Karacha, no the Gaelic Friel, agus Bunnacher, agus a Vies Ush ek Danyacher, and Yarish agus Anskilma.
Any image or idea, however silly, absurd, foolish, or dangerous, can be graven on a young, impressionable heart. But if that image or idea represents the first letters, the first foundation stones laid down, or the first seeds planted, then the reading that follows will not be pleasing, nor the fortress firm, nor the seed fruitful. For the mind is not inclined to good or happiness, it bends towards corrupt subjects that cannot be removed when they take root, and age adds to their very strength.
an inching moch, agus a riasi who all in the clachting, the custom here to fonjo. Could some be came yemenly food no amateur, a fallacy, and a new the brewery, agus your havrish cognac, with the age and conscious shepherd, a feel savage the doing came, agus Koshika and Raisin, the Ula Fool reveal.
Any image or idea, however silly, absurd, foolish, or dangerous, can be graven on a young, impressionable heart. But if that image or idea represents the first letters, the first foundation stones laid down, or the first seeds planted, then the reading that follows will not be pleasing, nor the fortress firm, nor the seed fruitful. Where the mind is not inclined to good or happiness, it bends towards corrupt subjects that cannot be removed when they take root and age. Age only adds to their strength.
Here on Shibusonia, and Pisha Atlantis Oninching, of Rodica Gumont, and the near Nuva Realchok. Possibly clear the hedge Ulmer, that should start up. Though the area of these bunker, these Gumor, nas Shasadikia, agus nas Dolia, a Haraka. And Shil, 18 near Bria Brunnock, of the foot of Evaninching, of the Kairpaka, and Kriya, a Harik, a good, a Haman Jivas. Or the subtle agus an blimson, and Shin gun free, gun twach, gun yash.
When every becoming thing is settled in the mind early, and when the young mind is accustomed to fine and thick subjects, whatever unchaste, idle, or foolish ideas strike in the hour of temptation and of ignorance, this blast shall pass. The mind will return safe to its own country and be ruled by reason. One sees clearly the benefit that follows from the mind being guided by early things holy and orderly. Like the tree bent low by the storm, upon taking root once more, it will be vastly more secure and safe, more difficult to move. Therefore, something beautiful remains rooted in the mind despite temptations. The exception is in idleness, because such flattery and senseless talk is that tries to sway the heart and are in vain, without meaning, without love, without strength.
An inching horror. An inching horror. The foolish mind. The foolish mind, let me catch you. David Maleshko. An inching horror. I cosily fasa. Van a keen nie fonchos and be. Agus Haniel ach Kalunia. Agus Bui. A big opera a maha no lesser. No nach Davi lupa no over dan some Thomas is lure. Agus had then touch go all en a soyte. Shame at the segment en a planta. Edi torum uoha vies kachnia. Agus kawaka a rain on sa vehe show. Agus on sa vehe a hun check. Sound of horrid a vanitas tatsut. Agus free na dröver. Cavial and blood of cool on the volcus, or we Pisha play, high electura and lava ad a lesser, agus a gyara, agus a scatter, and follow young one yo horror.
The foolish mind is like a desert where nothing of value can grow, and where it is nothing but a waste of time to be working, bettering, or improving that which can't be bent or budged in the smallest degree. But when understanding takes root in youth, modesty and prudence are planted. their fruit is delightful and efficacious both in this life and in the life that is to come. It is from this fruit the abundance and essence of the tree will be known. Its flower will not deceive your eye or your hope, for success will follow, and it will pay with right goodwill, with the goodwill hand that corrects it, and that cuts and prunes away its unfruitful branches.
Ver dref ma, a ma torag ma, a to ver yn drochrawn dro torag. Gaf dwyd rawn na hynna ver torag ma, Giarad Shiasi, agus Chilladr sa Chemathi. Ta chryni dynnu Jarad a Chila, don y drisiwr, no ffigish, don y thonedd, agus farnag cwsgwr sa fi masio, na chwantadw. Chyrraigr y sgitio, a fi agor sy'n torad bawi no imla.
Every good tree bringeth forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil fruit. Every tree that bringeth not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? And where nothing of worth has been planted, is it of no use to look for a healthy or whole harvest?
How the Catholic, Canada being speech, the plowman of self-esteem. So that shows a passion, the villain oig yet osculture. Canada Buddha Panikas, me bash, is moo, edar natter, no Canada being speech. Fein immono, the shade of sauce they got husband, got push emo, hudramach, son showlog, no porla ach ruahe. Am blad humanta a yedas, agus a lenis, and yo purum, agus o ulam to practing sa pi, yo lakver kinati, agus edi suas, the nairk sa pi o horst in an spielen, as an bonafer, an yadad, no karabog and power.
For every kind of senselessness to which youth are exposed, not one attracts more unseemliness upon our character than the plowman of self-esteem or self-fulfillment, puffed up every way in vain fancy, feeding their minds with each foolish desire. They do not trust in everything essential and important guidance given to them, that to navigate or advise them on the course or to live their lives. This is the bloom that often bursts forth and allows such thoughtfulness, that tolerates this disagreeable action without rising up, taking the life force away from the roots, and without severing them, carrying them away.
Ashkeladi, Torah Yom Ali, Ud agus Emishe, would not be less of a co-fractor on a line of Hoike. Han swore the Lordnoch agus an Tor, Solusud Mialto, Umok, Amacha, gal Shelud Elamata. But Himlan, Han Tol agus a meal, and Shin do Jansader, and Shin Tatoli, Kusper, here inlands and be. A court na Hinchi, and an appearance, the firmness, a lane or Kusper go Kusper, agus Hanea Rhein, Govel Dathli Rewar, answer their swing, and an Trekshi, a Korean Rut Eko agus Yalta or, agus is Yarlo Shake, Hundaratatas, Nadal Kijim and Charlotte no and Compunch na Nia Shin, Ovel Pier Fletchas, Solwas, agus Mass Egale, and Charlotte agus a Barrel is Yard, Haika Alfram Tolakazinchi, agus Solastri and Worcestershire, a Hordish no Gath Cogra, Re Edanoi, good Sain, good Furrum, good Power Epasha, no Nanji, good Hesnaka, good Rounsaka, good Shola, the Hila, no Vowel, Kanya Cobra Sapira Hesa, no scian sa fyr ry mwniol mian ionfanoch sa fi. Hynny na ddyn sy'n rhaid dwsgod, nor a creiniach a swyn cialadarach, no it arish da fein ni an hwyr.
An unhealthy bearing of fruit over time demonstrates that such growth is not as appropriate as in childhood. Many are searching for and seeking out false comfort early on that is foolish to lay claim to in the field of life. Overall, the desire and intention is to quell this, primarily how no object will satisfy them at all. The mind's power is fed by vanity, jumping from object to object. Not only is every meaningful thing in which interest is taken forsaken, but this condition instills fear and cowardice in them. It is better for them to escape into the darkness than venture full forth in the view of the company of the thing from which true belief, comfort, and esteem arise. The best outlook and attitude that they foster is from contentment. The knowledge of an unharnessed bridle that is given to every desire that rushes forth without consideration, without care, without foresight, or indeed after them without scrutiny, without investigation, without journeying to seek or accept. It reveals that there is no desire without punishment. The mind is not roused nor shaken from the deep sleep of hypocrisy, nor from the exalting from profane things.
A Mark Scroyer, the prodigal son. Han ysgrifenn a phosglog na'r siarad, yma dysiedau gael siarad, gath ni imlon, drachol, blwtio, awi. Na ni a ha, iddo chwlchod y dynion, siesafod a chachlu. Leis a sio, hadach niach na adl, dyn pwys lesgiel rhaid. Gai sy'n siarad air dyn Mark Scroyer. Get na cael y chym yma each of Grand Talker. They show Mark of Apple. If a written to Celestica, to gath me, give Heroic College, then a cranker. And the shadow other, but Yarchus Abastoras Nabelio. Agus Pura Mark Shoreba, then fire there and rain about Ria, Ra Ulti. Agus to Garwood, ask it to do with Timothy. Comes from Yahweh. Chria an san soch agus le sursa imlan, ach no hrui. Sauna vai jeferachig, go lua a chum durisha agus aga.
The scripture gives us many examples that show us all things shapely, honorable, and beautiful, and the things that should be avoided with dutiful resolution, so no one is left with an excuse to plead. Take a concise look at the prodigal son. Although his steps are not at all to be followed, here was a father's younger son who, although he had his choice of everything, wasn't satisfied with his lot. His father possessed riches and wealth enough, and this son decided he would take the share legally his and journey to foreign lands to enjoy his heart's desire in luxury and complete freedom. But alas, he was hastening quickly to bondage and affliction.
Gach Corlia agus Raisin a va na nanimachug, chun a chofrachug ag an pai, fai gan brí gan miarst. Anioch a réin an dil agus an chlód an san chawad yarachach va chianach in a garan gubí, va ulach otri a chria an swachad suas. By our parish now, and Jim Massacre, the published this college about Raft. The Jean could not get a school in Chicago, the Rova Arthur would turn to a shop, a Jalapa, a Gilman, Uwa, Bruja. As if Savage could down in a stein and Roma hay, the joy and free as it act. Als dat soel, agus a fria an a moa who trown, it snad, like Ranford, the Gorgil, the Eagle, Chudum the watch, Stahunian, and Kratchika Gorst, a be vetchin a fat Janakov, a lame power, as a hillwalk one savage, 38 people of me.
Every bit of advice and reason, nay, to keep him settled at home, well, they were without meaning or power. Ignorant both of the world and its people, every desire of his heart was swallowed up in the mistaken vision he had already formed, overlooking and defying every obstacle and danger he would meet. We may reasonably assume his father was heavily saddened at this parting, with crushing sadness and debilitating compassion deep in his breast, the tears trembling, and deep grief in his heart, swimming with emotion, watching him with fear, concern wounding and stinging him, grievously pained to see his rebellious son turning his back on his family, full of wealth. He is likely to be reduced to poverty.
Koso Rishader a Varikia, Yo wa Amstakotor, Gruma, Gruchon, Yo Kyonkot, a trek sheens a third Pulrima, Fellowship, and St. Palias. Hurti a be Jeffrey to Garshman, Trulia, Niwa, Adas Aga. Hanut dat na neer show een smoentje horrige abustu, na vrije, Adas wa a vaak een Crawford source aan een Dana, Adas Haroya, Hawkra, aan zijn post blaster solos of een deel, en een Porishapa, the Cyrus, Adas Palachis, Via Lovre. Haroya Galtrum, no smoentje, Balua, de nachrichtje, Elawan, Lukra. Het fala pagava, Adas Agishur, no Hawka. Vas Briam Uaslisha Anish, Edula Viabov, the Shin, Ave Rahat Ray, from the forest in the school, from the aid of the approach, na ye, the wife, Arsi, Yo.
Like the sailor ignorant of the uncertain, angry, gloomy seas, forsaking and turning his back on certain good for shadows, he must hasten to gardens of depravity, displeasure, and distress. These things cannot but awaken dark thoughts in the father's heart, his son engulfed in vanities, and his desires left unfulfilled by the agreeable consoling measures of the world that surrounded him since his birth, with riches and with plenty. This son did not foster the idea, nor consider in the least that his circumstances might change forever. Away he went, and that parting was neither comforting nor advantageous. A channel had been opened now to every desire, and with that he took a clear route towards wasting his fortune, where no prophet would follow, with a continuing guarded hand.
Jevi Bokki na Biscania, Anselianen Kusanjikia, Agus Apaka Kusantane, a Vanatum, Roy, Uadik, Ruamo, Show, that Israel, the Hawk Shad, Agazia being that Hano, Yo Hashna, Beha, and the Boko, and a Mian Tuadi, Hai Nyo Holosa, not Hai Jivaso. Or Shoshest the Shah. Arapus, Gui, Agus Pro, Edekian, Guyeva. Ha Maxtroilanish, Navaskla, Navusla, Gugrad Shasada. The Diafin Agar of Hui, Rock Agus Lowry, Got Solosun, Yalaka. Ha Fasa, Yokorok, Shlila Gori, Got Holokug, and the Dahan E. Agus a proto agus growing with Manabim, agus a geeked source, green a holocaust inching, Mianta. A walkus Yalta, Herd, a creamer with Ragapa, agus a shadow of cheers, Mara Thea. Then Yorahud et Amateur, high and the Lanavin Gujian, the Shantromacos a year of Hyunta, agus Haraway et Horse and Pea. Na hoiva togar.
In a short time, poverty and scarcity arose in the land to which he had journeyed. And it wasn't long before that gloomy, cold, hard nursemaid came to find him with a bitter kiss and to test him with her unpleasant breath. Fed on corrupt desires, she is as joyless as she is arrogant. For this is the best refrain. Regret, lament, and sorrow come to him in the end. The prodigal son is now stirred and awakened, suddenly and resolutely, trying to trammel his terror and shackling false pleasures. He sees the unfurled waste of his foolishness in its own colors and hardship and darkness, following and devouring the son of his false delights. Deceptive, foolish hopes are suddenly swept away and withered like the grass. But reflecting on foolishness, the weight that arises from guilt quickly follows, and there's no way to avoid all your sorrow.
As mór sé leis gad sa géirí le có agus mission. Sé hanin leisle, éirí agus éitni go taim maithe. Ha agad leisle cosgan sa buid an athe, ní hef jór sa brianú, ga wargarach an an dímas. Pátam an drúge athe, ga hólachud, a chur chasge gach leisle le fáilse agus búra. Le coinias agus sér. Ó chatas a bhaid ó haiscana chóir a grúam san bí, san a bhaid go mór iad an chur eile dhé seo. A briste go mach go saile meon chumanta, glúm é cheann a bhainneú agus go caimhneach cainneú fáca amach, a chúla bhí chaite ach anisce bhí beag. Chud é troscan bíomh a chort, mar a bheith an luch bíata, chud é fáinne ód a bhíon agus bhainne mór an garseis.
His thoughts now swelling, surged with love and courage. He then announced, I will rise and go to my father's house. Adversity has now gained and won things for his father that his tearful words had previously sought in vain. His father intercepted him long before arriving at the house, forbidding every apology and excuse, and welcoming him home with open arms, with kindness and affection. Far from showing any signs of displeasure, he was entirely the opposite, obviously and extraordinarily bursting forth with emotion. He went head over heels and joyfully kissed his son, who he had thought was lost, but he is now alive. He put the finest clothes about his son. He slaughtered the fatted calf, put a gold ring on his finger, and made great rejoicing.
Och brigéir bí go fosneach, le diama bhuan le gáirich, agus chanéile go roa an díafin go mór a chum a bha, Legi gan súlechtin an na dapan kerst, agus fíle a ríis, go taiacha le rún nua. Carol drog hunuk sa bíach amateach, gáil chónlí na chríe. Saniele gabon nach chudaga bí go rá súlacha na chríe, go líonmór agus go táisneach ra brachar nach teachí lia meisiacha. Oedd yn dwlgroch agos yn y grwam a hasgan eisiau, a oedd yn adja ffartioch o'r hedd y frachar, chaniel a choslas Egypt ra hola. Oedd yn dorach at ysbeth, awn snacheg o'n pria Egypt nhw'n y ragan dwlgrwchawn snacheg choslas yn fi do hedd ra yddi, hasgan i yn sio gwsbyr ra chachler am snach ceim am ysgrir da bech, ach o parich, on Hoike.
He settled down to eat tranquilly, casting aside forever his foolishness, and without doubt did his utmost to keep on the right path. He saw the world and its true colors, and returned to his father's house with renewed resolve. It was not evil teachings, but foolishness that had made its home in his heart. And I do not doubt the virtues of his heart may have been as plentiful and pleasing as those of the brother who had never gone wandering. For the sorrow and the gloom he had shown instead of welcoming him, his brother, that is never to be praised. For in life's darkness you will not see the heart, nor success double where no appearance of love is found. These lessons show us what to avoid in each action and deeds of our lives, especially in our youth.
Bianchi. Kiel go lonsach go brechen a shir, agus kiel go lorgar lach a clear, hoa go fisinchi. No, hoas corriacha. Acha a chi agus a chi a punch, a real of go ra, aus an create line. The machine, be a ship in look lenavi, or a gia, or a clown, Dílas. Seachna gach ula coslas oak, Jaravi gach ula ni, Cumi go daingan, a ni shena hamma, agus go jema ia a grai, agus a hia fain shisheshe, a nervacha go himla, agus guils gia, could be a nula spirit, agus amon, agus cor, an bleir, go yochorach, go chach, and Shirla Isa Christ. Amen.
How to understand God's judgment and how to pursue his way. Who has that knowledge? Who can advise him? But his peace and his tranquility rule in every pure heart. Therefore follow God, as his grateful children do. Avoid every appearance of evil. Verify everything, firmly uphold that which is good, and may God grant his love and peace to redeem you entirely. And I pray to God that your spirit and soul and body will be kept innocent until the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.